This is just like typical day. You open it up and you've got this this beautiful apple. We have a his and her sourdough starter. This is our freeze dryer.
How's it growing? Today we're back with Amanda Pike and her family for another look into their morning food prep. But wait, are those ramen noodles in that dehydrator? Stick around to find out. Plus, if you've ever sipped butterfly PT, you are in for a big surprise. Wesley Pike is here to show a fun twist in this nutritious tea that will delight both kids and adults.
And if you've ever had fresh coconut milk, I mean, it's just wild doing this because you just realize like how superior food tastes. Like it's really good.
Today in part 2 of this Farm to Table series, Amanda Pike will once again demonstrate how to turn your garden harvest into delectable treats and essentials without spending all day in the kitchen.
I'm going to show you how to feed the square. I'm going to show freeze-dried egg and then make coconut milk, hopefully all in 15 minutes.
The Pikes had somewhere they had to be immediately after, so they showed us just how much you can accomplish in the short amount of time.
You can see it didn't take that long. You were here about an hour.
Well, by the time we were done filming this series, it was probably closer to 2 hours. Plus, they took the time to explain what they do and why. Otherwise, it could have taken half the time. Exactly. But before we dive in, why don't you give us a quick recap on the previous episode? Hold on, Stack. Are you going to bury the lead like that? What? The cookbook. Amanda's Food Force cookbook. Oh, right. There's a new development with that. I'll fill you in later. Let's just get to the recap. Sure thing. In part 1, Amanda showed us how they use a trash can with a foot press for their kitchen composting.
Having the foot press for the compost, really helpful.
Turn it on. And James whipped up a breakfast smoothie and we learned about his fortified bread loaf. And then Wesley treated us to homemade ice cream and Amanda shared her secret about making Ezekiel bread and flatbread, as well as a mouth-watering banana pie. You mean the cake? She whipped up a pie topping. It was a cake icing. Are you done? In today's episode, get ready to learn more about the Pike sourdough starter. Amanda will explain why they have 2 separate starters and show how she feeds hers from the garden. And then it's coconut time. What's in that coconut? That's our coconut apple. It is so delicious. Amanda will share what she does with those, as well as how to make coconut milk, coconut cream, and even coconut meal that she uses to make either yummy cookies or breakfast bars. Plus, we'll get a peek at their freeze dryer and taste some delicious freeze-dried snacks. Well, I get to taste them. Sorry, Bo. It was seriously good stuff. Now, where were we? Here we go. We're back to the Pike Food Forest. Entryway looks a little different. Look at this. They have a new driveway.
We have a his and her sourdough starter. Because my sourdough starter, like I'm a little bit more of like, let's just see what happens. And my
experimental.
And my husband's like, I want a predictable loaf. I want it to slice cleanly, you know. Whereas I'm like, the flatbread is so forgiving. Who cares? Just like, I mean, all you do is I have this little like crepe maker. So all you do, I could just take the starter and that's it. You have a flatbread. So it's not as complex as like getting the loaf to rise it's just not as complex. It's easy. So you can use all the beans and do your Ezekiel bread because it's actual Ezekiel bread. Like it's not like a market thing. All right, so this is sourdough starter. It's predominantly just green banana. So we're gonna feed it some more green banana. So a lot of people are like, oh, how do you feed a sourdough starter from the yard? So easy. So when you're working with wheat, you have a powder. But when you're working with garden fresh ingredients, you don't need to dry it into a powder. A sourdough starter is a batter. And you saw how we made a batter with the egg and the ripe banana. So sourdough is just a batter as well, except it doesn't have the animal products. So it's just water and whatever your starch or protein is. And so a sourdough starter wants a balance of protein carb. This is pure carb. Green banana. It's pure carb. It's a potato equivalent. So I'm going to feed it. And it's going to bubble up. It's going to love it. It's going to be like, yeah, starch. But then it's going to get hungry really fast. It's like you. If you eat like mashed potatoes, you're like, this is delicious, but you're hungry again. Whereas if you eat something that has more protein, you're satiated for longer. So when I feed it, I'm not quite ready to feed it the beans because I'm going to let the beans soak a little longer. But it's the same concept. You just put the bean stuff. I would drain this, put the beans in here, and then you just cover it with water. So I'm just going to fill it up until it's covered.
And that's okay using tap water, or is your water filtered?
Our water is super filtered.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Yeah, we are a little bit like,
yeah,
what's in the water?
Yeah.
So we have reverse osmosis with UV light, like the whole thing.
Okay.
So our water is fine. But I mean, if you're drinking your tap water, then the sourdough can consume. The sourdough starter is so fascinating because it's a microcosm indicator for nutrition. So, like, if your water kills your yeast, that's interesting. Yeah. So, it's such a fascinating thing to watch it respond to the food stuff. We can add a little bit more water. It's thick. It's so thick that the blender's having a hard time. So I'm going to add a little bit more water because you just want it to be like fully incorporated. And the thing with the starter is they say, let it be more, if you have to choose either too wet or too dry, let it be too wet. So you really can't go wrong adding a little more water. It's just a pure starch batter. Now, if I add this, it's going to be more of a protein carb balance batter. So that's it. You just feed it to the starter. No big deal. This is pretty high. It's pure starch. I may want to break the vessel into two. We'll see. It's going to bubble up, so it's pretty hard. We'll see. Because sometimes it gets so happy it'll overflow. But I don't think it's going to overflow because it's just pure starch.
We learned that the hard way.
We did learn that the hard way. Like,
wake up the next morning and see a volcano.
Yeah, some bubble action. So you just scrape down the walls. And then if you don't fully incorporate the bottom, then it'll only ferment on the top. That happens too. It's like a partial fermentation. It's all very forgiving. I mean, if our ancestors were putting this in a ancient text, it's doable, right? In a camp-like situation, right? Yeah. I mean, and you can smell the sourdough. It's beautiful. Like, it's very complex. I don't know if you enjoy the aroma of sourdough, but we've definitely come to appreciate it. Look at that.
I like it.
Floral hints. So you stir it in one direction, then you're supposed to stir it in the other, just to make sure it's fully incorporated. That's it. Super easy. So right now, this is springtime, and so the coconuts in South Florida in spring are sprouting. And so outside, they're just brown. They just look like a dried coconut. The ones where you can hear that there's a little bit of moisture in that brown coconut, that's a good sign that it's still viable. So I'm going to move this out of the way so that in case there's any splash, because this is a bit of a, let's see what's inside. So when it has a sprout like this and it has some roots, this is a really good indicator that there's probably a coconut apple inside. Now, coconut apples are considered a delicacy. They're called Queen's bread, and so we have talked about bread quite a bit today. And bread is the staple of life, right? Like, give us this day our daily bread. So when you can find different manifestations of bread, like a sweet bread and a savory bread and fortified bread and nature's bread, then you start to have this well-rounded diet from the food forest. It's a beautiful thing. So to open this, you just tap it around the perimeter. So there should be a little bit of water coming out of here. And then you open it up and you've got this this beautiful apple. So the sprout really kind of clues you in that it probably has a beautiful apple in there. And so I'm going to be freeze drying these as rice crackers. So I'm going to show you that. Here's another one. We're going to open it up and see what we have. I'm going to pop them out. I'm going to slice them into discs. And then I have some in the freezer that I'm accumulating. I like to freeze before going in the freeze dryer. There's a little baby apple. So this one we'll just cut into wedges. This is a culinary hammer, so we only use it for food, and I recommend that because if you use a regular hammer, you don't want like plaster or paint in your food. So you just have one hammer per kitchen. So here's this one. It has a little bit of darkness around the edges, so when I pop it on, I'm going to give it a good scrub to make sure that's not a problem.
That's good to know.
Yeah. And then I'm not going to probably harvest this meat. It doesn't smell off, but we'll see. So you do want to watch your fingers because it can pitch while that. So no, oh, look at that little baby apple. So this is my favorite time of year for coconut because I just love the coconut.
They're delicious.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna take a plate and scoop out this one, and I'll just like work the edges. So I just reach in there with the spoon to work the edges. You can see the fattiness of the coconut. It's so fatty. So when you make milk out of this, it's like a third cream. It is so fatty, and then the top of the cream is like coconut oil. So I made coconut yogurt, and it's set up like coconut oil. I mean, it's oil. It's delicious. It's just very fatty. So it's a lot of fun to see coconut at different phases. So there it is, it popped out. And then I'm gonna give it a rinse, and then I just slice it into discs to get some of the oils off. The exterior of the coconut apple is one of my favorite parts because it's so salty. It's so salty. So I just slice it up, so take the round end and just be gentle with it. Maybe little wafers. They're so delicious. We're so lucky that we have them here in South Florida. Look at that. Oh, here, you want to taste it? Here, it's so yummy. It's like salty and sweet and juicy. It's so good. It's so good. So you've got the fat on the outside. You have to watch out for making sure it hasn't spoiled. This is all like coconut fat. Oh, so delicious. All right, very fun. And then you can just, I'm gonna freeze dry them so they're non-perishable. When they're freeze dried, then they don't go bad for like 25 years.
Wow.
It's a very good preservation method. And so just to make some quick milk. So here's some that I dehydrated. You can see they're translucent because they're so high in fat. See, I could just pop this out. Just popping it. I don't take the brown bit off. Some people are like, oh, scrape that off. I don't. I mean, fiber.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I don't remove it. That's just fiber. And it doesn't affect the color of the milk. And I usually just bring this up to a quick boil just to reconstitute the flesh. So that when the fat will integrate more with the liquid. Just prying it away. And if you've ever had fresh coconut milk, I mean, It's just wild doing this because you just realize like this how superior food tastes. Like it's really good. It's like really yummy to eat from the yard. So we say this is like a game we're playing. You know, like this is all just fun because food tastes better. It's just easy. We don't have to like worry about a toxic tsunami roaring over our family. We get to just enjoy.
And it's probably more nutritious than what you can buy in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we know our soil has nutrients because we're feeding it nutrients.
Yep. Nothing synthetic.
Nothing synthetic. We're not using synthetic fertilizers or anything like that. Our ability to perceive flavor was so that we could perceive nutrients. Flavor is nutrient-based, but in restaurants and other locations, they're hiding the fact that their food is not fresh with excessive fat, salt, and sugar. So that's all that most Americans can taste is fat, salt, and sugar. It takes about 2 weeks for your taste buds to reset. So once you start kind of scaling back from industrialized food, you start to, over the course of a couple weeks, perceive flavors, like actual flavors, not just, is it salty, is it sweet, is it fatty? So I dehydrate these at a variety of temperatures. So I always like rinse out to make sure there's no like pathogens that may have gotten in. I will rinse out the meat, give it a rinse and just kind of look it over, make sure it looks good. And then I will zap it in the dehydrator for like 150 at 158. And that'll kill any pathogens. And then I will let it go to like 95. So I'm only zapping it for like an hour or two to kill anything that maybe entered or any water that may have penetrated. And then I just let it dehydrate low and slow to preserve the inner nutrients. So now I'm going to take this. This is the meat that I just pulled out. I think that was all the dry ones. And I'm just going to fill it, just cover it with water, hot water. And then I'm just going to bring it up to a boil, and that'll release the fat. So this was brought up to a boil, I'm turning it off. I'm gonna let it cool a little bit, we'll make milk. I'm gonna pop this apple out and decide which ones I'm gonna dehydrate. I think that looks pretty good. So I'll put these in the dehydrator, make coconut milk, take the egg out of the freeze dryer, and then we'll call it a day, because that's just normal. Like we're like boom, 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 gotta go. All right, so I'm gonna just rinse these off, popping the little sprout off. You can pop this out if you want, no big deal, but it'll just dry in there and then you can take it out later. So you can also kind of scrape a little bit of the meat off if it needs it. I'm gonna rinse these, stick them into the dehydrator. Right now I have spiralized green papaya in there as ramen noodles. So I dehydrate the green papaya. We all love them as noodles. I also have some fruit leather in there. But so yeah, they're just like little ramen noodle like packs. They're just spiralized green spiralized green papaya. And you can just rehydrate them with a little bit of bone broth or something and make little noodles. I'll take off the sprout. Just stick them in there and that's it. And then I can make milk out of them another day. This one's a little gray. I'm not going to use that one. This one looks okay. It has a little bit of a, you see how it indented? But if you look at it, there's nothing wrong with it. It's the way that it formed a ripple. So I'm just going to rinse it and put it in. But it's important to look and like evaluate if they're still good worth making milk. Leave those bad boys in there. It's at 95 right now. I have other things in. I'm going to leave it at 95 and I'll do my zap. I'm just putting it up to 24 hours. So now we're gonna take and just make some of that milk really quickly. So you just take your pieces of coconut, put them in here with the water. It's nice and hot, but not too hot. It's not gonna melt your blender. And the most important thing is that with all these recipes, like it's just ratio. So you kind of just want it to be, I'm gonna add a little bit more water because I want it to cover the coconut. So that's about it. It's about covered, maybe just a tiny bit more. That's it. And then I'm just gonna stick it on the blender, let it do its thing. And I like to blend it twice. We'll see how thick it is and whether or not I need to add more moisture like we did for the green banana. just gonna do it one more time, just for good measure. Okay, I'm just gonna strain it, and then I think we're out of time because we've got to go to the dance party. But let me just make the milk really fast. I'm gonna cover these green bananas with water so that they don't dry out, since I cannot peel them and put them in the fridge. The green banana, because they're a potato substitute, I can make potato salad, I can make mashed potatoes, all the things. But I'm just gonna cover them so they don't oxidize. So the water kind of preserves them while we're gone. So I'll just let that fill up. If I didn't have time, like, I could just leave it in here in the fridge and do it when I get back, no big deal. The fats might cling to it a little bit though, and so I might need to heat it up again. So it is better to do it when it's a little bit warm, because then the fats release. You get that cream on top. So you just pour this right through it. This is a cheesecloth bag. I've used it for making golden milk with turmeric. That's why it's yellow.
Okay.
And that's it. So you can see how beautiful that milk is. Look at that. It's so gorgeous. And then I'll just squeeze it out. So delicious. It's a little bit hot, so I just alternate my hands. And then sometimes I'll use tongs. It's hot. We made coconut milk. The cream will set up on top. This is coconut meal. It's coconut meal in here so I can make cookies when I get back. We are drying coconut. We got coconut apples. People are like, oh, it must take all day. And it's like, we're normal. We're going to go to dance event, party, you know? Like, we've got other things going on too. We're people. And so, you know, we have to kind of bide our time. So now I'm going to take the meal. I'm not even going to take it out of the cheesecloth bag because we're getting ready to go. I'm just going to stick it in this Tupperware container just like this. And then whenever I get back and I'm ready to deal with it, then I can make cookies with it. So you can also dry it and grind it into a flour. But why? What? You know, why do the extra step if you don't have to? So that goes right into the fridge. And then this I'm just gonna pour this into here, and all the cream will rise to the top while we're gone. Just gonna pour it right in. So delicious. I'm gonna show you the freeze dryer with our eggs. So we have free-range chickens. They are so great for providing us with vitamin D3, B12, vitamin K2, I believe it is. The stuff that's really difficult to get from just the plants. The chickens help us kind of fill in the gaps. But right now, you know, it's like feast or famine with the chickens because a bobcat will come, a raccoon will come, and we'll lose quite a bit of the flock. But right now, we've got all the girls, and they're all laying, and we've got a lot of eggs. So we're freeze drying them. This is our sealer. It'll seal the bags closed, and then it's shelf stable. Really, I just pop them out, pop them in a bag, seal it, and then they're shelf stable. So I'll show you that. It's just right here. This is our freeze dryer, and it's letting us know that it's done. So we just have sliced boiled egg in there. There'll be boiled egg crackers. We have the bags. So we have smoothie cookies, which you tasted.
Okay.
And so we leave some in the fridge for us, and then we have them for presents for family. Or if we're like on the go, like, okay, we've got all these events, grab some snacks, let's go. And they're still from our yard. And then we've got papaya and green papaya that I mix with Jamaican jerk. We keep some freeze-dried food in the fridge at all times for a crunchy snack. So I'll show you some of our crunchy snacks. In the freeze-dryer marketing, they're always like, look, you have freeze-dried food on the counter. It's so delicious. You're like, this is South Florida. It's 60% humidity at all times. Like, no, you can't have it on the counter because it'll reabsorb the moisture. But super yummy. So here is some freeze-dried Turk's caps that have been stuffed with yogurt. Wanna taste it?
Sure.
So fun. It's a crunchy yumminess. So you just eat only the red part.
Hold on. Wow.
Yeah, it's so
Delicious.
so fun and yummy. And then this is freeze-dried Monstera deliciosa. Yeah.
Yum.
Yes. But when you freeze dry it, it's almost like Pop Rocks. Some of the oxalate crystals you can sense. It's not painful or unpleasant, but it's like Pop Rocks. It's very interesting. And then this is Nepali cactus that I freeze dried with a Jamaican jerk spice. I want to just taste a little piece of that.
Sure.
Super fun.
Yum.
Like a crunchy cracker.
That is good.
Yeah. And then this is and Nepali cactus has this very natural like citrus-like flavor. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And then these are just little smoothie cookies. So any kind of smoothie we have left over, I'll put them into a mold and then we just freeze dry them for cookies later. So like if I don't finish my smoothie, I'll just, so fun.
Nice.
It's a little cookie.
In this episode, you can kind of tell that they were a little pressed for time. Don't forget about Wesley and the butterfly PT. All right, let's do that.
And carbonated it. When it carbonates, it turns purple, and when you put lemon juice in it, it also turns purple.
It turns a little pink with the acid. Do you want to show them how you make the soda tea? Sure. So he's not really crazy about just regular old tea, but if you carbonate it, then he loves it. So
I'm gonna do it straight this time. Here we go. There it goes.
a little bit about flying.
Whoa. Too carbonated.
Yummy! Yeah, and so the carbonation is a little bit acidic, so it makes it turn a little bit more purple than blue. But he just loves it. Very delicious. And we just put the caps on and it's ready to go.
You want it?
I'll have some.
Good to go, honey.
Thank you.
Besides,
That's really good.
yeah, it's really yummy.
See why I like my water like that?
It's delicious.
Well, I think you had a good time. I really enjoyed
I did. Thank you so much. So what's the latest with Amanda's cookbook? Yeah, she's currently working with her publisher to finalize releases. And once it's ready, I'll make sure it's linked in the description. Don't forget about all those recipes in the Transform book. Absolutely. In her book, Transforming Florida Yards, Amanda provides a recipe for each of the 200 plants she covers. This book is a valuable resource, especially if you're interested in starting a food forest in Florida or a similar climate. If you're considering getting Amanda's book, you'll find the affiliate link in the description below. By purchasing through these affiliate links, you're not only supporting Stack's Urban Harvest mission, but you're also ensuring that we can continue making awesome video content like this in the future at no extra cost to you. If you're interested in learning more about that freeze dryer, dehydrator, or any other appliances used by the Pikes, either in this or the previous episode, check out the links in the description below. Didn't you mention that Vitamix blender model is discontinued? That's right, while that exact model may be discontinued, there's a similar one that's linked below. Sometimes you can find refurbished models at a discounted price like the Pikes did. Personally, I've had a great experience with the Ninja Blender food processor combo, so I'll include that link as well. If you missed part 1 of the series, you should be able to see a link up here or a link in the description.
We are cultivating our garden in the style of the Blue Zones.
Plus, if you haven't watched the Incredible Food Forest tour video yet, you'll either find that on the end screen of this video or in the description. Before we wrap up, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to the Pike family for generously sharing their time and knowledge with us.
Here you go, sir.
Now for David Stacks.
Their insights have truly enriched our community, and we're incredibly grateful for it.
Cheers!
Cheers! You ready, Bo? Absolutely. But first, I just want to give a quick shout out to OT Gardner, who let us use this photo for the series. Live regeneratively, and let's grow together.